The Replacements, and Hannah Montana all eventually found a place on the block.
The block is hot. The block is hot. Hot, hot. The block is hot. The block is hot. Hot, hot.
Angel Knot.
Salutations to the nations. What's good, Angel Knots? It's your boy Young Sinai. So today we are going to be reacting to a video, Disney's One Saturday Morning, a history and demise. What happened to ABC Saturday Morning block? Now, this video is by Cinephile Studios. So shout outs to them. Make sure you go check them out. Do you remember One Saturday Morning? I know I do. One Saturday morning, that one was so cool. I watched Recess, Pepper Ann. I think Doug ended up coming over there when Disney bought Doug. I don't remember what else was on there. But yeah, I love me some One Saturday Morning, man. All right, but yo, let's go ahead and see what ended up happening. You know what I'm saying? All right, yo.
Deep in the great trenches of pop culture history lies a dead vessel known as Saturday morning cartoons. These used to be shows created specifically for airing on the big...
Man, I feel so sorry for kids. My bad. I know I'm already stopping it. I feel so sorry for kids nowadays, man. They just don't know what it's like to have just a big old bowl of cereal. You feel me? Sit down with that big old bowl of cereal and just you could feel the cavities coming in. You know what I'm saying? Just watching cartoons, ain't gotta go to school. Parents ain't, go ahead and get ready for the bus. Man, them was the days, man. I feel so sorry. See, and that just goes to show an example of how too much of a good thing, isn't always good, because now it was something for us to look forward to that time. Like, man, I can't wait till the morning, watch One Saturday Morning. And now it's like, you just have access to everything, My kids, if they want to watch Bluey, if they want to watch Powerpuff Girls, if they want to watch Doc McStuff, whatever they want to watch is instant access, instant access. And I mean, even us as adults, like, we've been spoiled as well. You remember having to wait for a show, like wait a week for the new show to come out and stuff. Now you just, Netflix drops it, boom, the entire thing. Watch that whole thing, man. Just binge it all. My bad. I didn't start ranting. He ain't even said nothing. He 13 seconds in the video. I done had a tangent. What's wrong with me?
3 networks for children to enjoy when they had a day off from school and church. Of course, the history of Saturday morning cartoons goes back as far as the early 1950s, but it was flourishing well into the early 2000s, even with the advent of bigger cable networks like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel. Speaking of Disney, what I want to specifically talk about today was a great programming block from the late 90s called One Saturday Morning. This was a block that ran from 1997 to 2002, which was later replaced by ABC Kids that ran until 2011.
Oh, something else I just thought about? Oh my gosh, I know people done left this video already, but something else I just thought about, and I hope he touches on it, I don't know. But TGIF, thank God it's Friday, with Family Matters. I think Full House. I can't remember. But yeah, man, those are good times. ABC knew what they was doing for real.
I want to talk about this because in the age of constant nostalgia grabbing BuzzFeed articles and Facebook posts titled, "Do you remember this?" I'm
That's literally what I just talked about.
Surprised by how little there is about this amazing tiny period of TV history. It's probably because it ran so short and was later turned into Disney Channel mini marathon of their own programming, but it was honestly pretty great when it first started, but then died a slow death. The real question is, what happened?
I want to know this. I'm excited.
Well, it all started in 1996 when the FCC took an earlier mandate from 1990 to increase the educational and informational programming being broadcast to children on their weekends off. Yeah, you know that little EI thing that's in the corner of kids shows that air on NBC, CBS, and PBS? Well, that means that the current programming fulfills the mandate. This was something that the big networks and individual translators had to cover, otherwise, they'd be fined. That didn't put a death to shows entirely. Things like Discovery Kids and WB Kids survived by arguing that their shows had good morals to support an educational physique. So Disney was bold
I don't know how many good morals I got from Animaniacs. I ain't gonna lie.
enough to create an entire block of original animation on their own ABC network to take care of this mandate rather than rely on first run syndicated programming from other companies. They got the help of Peter Hastings, a writer for Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, who came up with the idea of a block that had characters in the building representing the so powerful day of Saturday. Several shows were created, like Recess, Pepper Ann, 101 Dalmatians, Science Court, and Doug, which had been acquired from Nickelodeon. They even continued to air Disney-owned
Also, Pepper Ann and Recess were created for One Saturday Morning. I did not know that.
shows like The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and the WB-owned Bugs Bunny and Tweety Show, a compilation of Looney Tunes shorts due to their high ratings until the contract with Warner Brothers ended in 2000. If you watch the Little Mermaid VHS, you can actually find a pretty fun commercial promoting the new block.
Disney's One Saturday Morning on ABC with brand spanking new Doug, Pepper Ann, and Recess.
Recess was always my favorite subject in the school.
Word problem. Monday morning, wake up now, do work, stand in line.
And the block was a pretty big hit from the start. There really wasn't anything airing on any other network that had simply comedic shows that had good moral characters. Everything else seemed to be action or anime based. And here came Disney with that masterful work of vertical integration.
Wait, I want to see that. Feel like I just missed a good marketing tip.
Characters. Everything else seemed to be action or anime based. And here came Disney with that masterful work of vertical.
Okay, raw material, manufacturing, distribution, retail, after sales service. So that's forward integration, backward animated. My bad, y'all. I got a business. You feel me? So I just be trying to take a little footnotes. You know what I'm saying?
Integration.
Cliff notes. Am I trying to take cliff notes or footnotes? I think I'm trying to take cliff notes. What are footnotes? I don't know. Tell me. Am I trying to take cliff notes or footnotes?
It was so powerful that the spin-off was made for UPN called Disney's 1-2, which featured a lot of the same great animated shows. I was pretty young when the block first started, so I didn't experience the times when they actually had a host named Mimi, an elephant played by Brad Garrett, and other types of characters. There were mini programs like Mrs. Munger's Class, How Things Work, Manny the Uncanny, and Great Minds Think for Themselves.
I remember that Mrs. Munger's Class with the talking yearbook. I forgot about that.
Which actually had Robin Williams reprising his role as the genie.
Back on the air with the Physics Friends Network. Toledo?
Yeah. Can you give me an example of relativity?
Why, sure. A particle of light leaves the sun at the same time a spaceship also leaves the sun. The spaceship rockets off at speeds close to the speed of light. If an observer on the sun...
Truthfully, I was about 2 years old when the block started. When it reached its later years, things like the storylines involving the live-action characters and hosts and mini-segments were dropped as the ratings began to dwindle. It wasn't cost-effective to do that kind of stuff when they could just air the TV shows themselves without any of the announcers or hosts. By 2000, they had enough episodes produced to survive on the TV shows alone, but surprisingly, even though the live-action stuff was dropped, new animated shows kept being produced, like Hercules, Mickey Mouse Works, The Weekenders, Teacher's Pet, Buzz Lightyear: A Star Command, Lloyd in Space, House of Mouse, Mary-Kate and Ashley and Action.
I ain't seen none of them shows. But, yo, you want to know what I just thought about? Low key, Pepper Ann might have one of the greatest theme songs of all time. I'm trying to think. Name a cartoon that's got a better theme song than Pepper Ann. I can't. That Pepper Ann was too cool for 7th grade. Pepper Ann, she's like 1 in a million. That move was hard.
What the hell? And Timo Supremo. Some of these shows were so popular that they got their own films, like Doug's First Movie, Teacher's Pet, and Recess School's Out, a personal favorite of mine. Yet Recess was actually a pretty damn popular show, and it would survive the longest of all these shows, even into the transition from One Saturday Morning to ABC Kids. The later years of the block were some of my earlier memories. Most of the live action stuff was replaced with bumpers of kids playing outside, I guess. Probably what kids should be doing instead of watching TV on a weekend. In the last 2 years of the block, Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens aired to promote Zoog Disney, a block of shows aimed at older kids, but it was Disney testing the waters for their next plan. You see, during this time, Disney actually purchased Fox Family, which became ABC Family, which of course later became known as Freeform. In the process, they
Freeform. What have I been missing? How long has it been since I've seen TV?
also got the rights to Power Rangers. Seeing the cash cow that Power Rangers could be due to its popularity and relatively low budget, but not really fitting into their block of fun animated kids shows, and with Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens doing so well in the block, the decision was made to completely rebrand the block as ABC Kids. Disney would do a smart economic decision by just taking reruns from Disney Channel programming that could be argued as educational, and they would throw it on ABC, while producing new episodes of the flagship show, Power Rangers. Now, many 90s kids...
I'm really trying to figure out how they finessed to say that some of these shows are educational. Like Kim Possible, Recess, Doug, like how are these educational shows? I can't, maybe it was morality. Maybe they were teaching you how to be, trying to, give a little moral of the story type thing. But I mean, that's the only thing I could think is I ain't learned nothing from these shows.
Will say that this was the absolute death of great TV, but I'm gonna go a little on the defensive. When I first saw the ads for the new block, I was hyped. Getting Disney Channel shows when you didn't even have cable was a dream come true. Things like Proud Family, Kim Possible, with Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire sticking around, as well as Recess, I mean, who couldn't love that? The early days of One Saturday Morning were long gone. Most of the shows had disappeared and would often show up on Toon Disney, but Recess still stuck around, being easily the best show.
Recess
Even a new show specifically for the block was created called Fillmore, a really awesome middle school detective show that's gone completely forgotten. In fact, that might be worth doing a video on someday. So when people often complain about ABC Kids, I think it's simply because original programming wasn't being made anymore. I still enjoyed it because I went without Disney Channel my entire life, so it was nice seeing all these shows, but the complaints were noteworthy. Ratings slowly dwindled as the block went on, but things like Power Rangers kept it alive as they kept producing new seasons up until 2009. Or you could watch NBA Inside Stuff. Originally, the setting of the block was in a baseball stadium, which later became a rock stadium. And that cool light bulb EI logo,
Illuminating television.
It eventually got replaced by a typical EI logo with a graduation cap on. Yeah. Great shows like Lilo and Stitch series, Phil of the Future, and the other popular ones like That's So Raven, The Buzz on Maggie, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Emperor's New School, The Replacements, and Hannah Montana all eventually found a place on the block. So with Disney...
The block is hot, the block is hot, hot, hot. The block is hot, the block is hot, hot, hot. Sorry if y'all don't know that. I don't know what to tell you.
Basically having this block for super cheap and using it to air Power Rangers and reruns of Disney Channel shows. Well, what happened? Well, obviously as time went on, I altogether liked the shows less and less, but I would still come to watch the block anyway. I was never a Power Rangers fan, but I knew of its popularity.
He didn't just say what I thought he said.
As the block aged, the time it started out got a little later and later. Kids couldn't watch the block simply because it aired too late for them to catch it. Other things like cable, of course, and the internet killed it. But even when it died in 2011, internet and internet video weren't so huge. I mean, Netflix was only just starting with their whole video on demand stuff. I don't think younger kids were entirely using the internet by 2011 and distracting them from TV. I'll give you what I truly think happened. So every year, Disney would do what it could to update the block and put new shows on it. And in 2006, the lineup was The Emperor's New School, The Replacements, 2 episodes of That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, Zack and Cody, and then the newest season, The Power Rangers. Why do I know this by heart? Because they would keep that same lineup for 5 years straight.
Wow.
And with the exception of Power Rangers, they didn't even update the episodes. It was
They said if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
usually the same 10 episodes in circulation, and by the time the block died, all the shows have long been canceled on Disney Channel. ABC Kids became a graveyard for repeated episodes of the same thing. This, I'm sure, turned people away from the block and brought no new viewers in, and as Power Rangers sat at the latest time available of 12 p.m., when most kids were probably headed to other people's houses or sports games, its ratings fell. Power Rangers is still a popular franchise, so it's not like people didn't watch it, but having to sit through 3 hours of the same exact crap every single weekend could get a little tiring. Eventually, Disney was really scraping the bottom of the barrel. To get the nostalgia crowd, in 2010, they stopped producing new episodes of Power Rangers, which was cheap to begin with, and just re-released the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the 90s with new effects. How low can you go? Apparently, Saban ended up negotiating with Disney to buy the rights back, a rare occurrence where Disney actually gave up one of its properties, and they brought it to Nickelodeon, where it's been kind of popular again, and they released a new feature film that people kind of saw and kind of liked. So in 2011...
Did y'all see that Power Rangers movie? What'd you think? I liked it, you know? Do I like it as much as the original Power Rangers movies? No. Was it a good movie? Yeah. Did I like seeing Heisenberg as Zordon? Yeah.
Power Rangers gone. Disney was left with 5 shows that were not only dead, but they didn't even have a wide variety of episodes. ABC had gotten lazy with covering the mandate, and while I have heard constant rumors of a revamping and bringing new Disney Channel shows to the network, hope was dying when other stations began to replace their own programming blocks with a thing called Litton Entertainment documentary-styled shows. They were taking control of almost every block because their shows were cheap and they covered the stupid federal mandate from the government. It was announced that the same would happen to ABC, and on August 27, 2011, ABC Kids aired for a final time. The first time the station would go without Saturday animation in almost 50 years, and ended 15 years of history for the network. And it didn't even go off with a bang. I actually did watch the final broadcast, and guess what? It was all episodes I had seen on the block probably 20 times. At this point, I probably have several Hannah Montana episodes memorized by heart. I don't think Saturday morning cartoons will be returning anytime soon. The government made it difficult for the networks to deal with the mandates, while cable networks boomed, being able to air kids programming throughout the whole week, and Saturday mornings became days to go to elementary sports games, or to go outside, or go on the internet, or
do things that we should be doing.
Do video games or go on Netflix. There's so many other options now that trying to finance a network cartoon is too expensive. It makes sense that one Saturday morning's intent to create original programming ended, but ABC Kids just died a slow death. Now, with the prevalence of YouTube and Netflix, the best thing you can do is find a TV show to stream, and if you want, just pause it and then watch a compilation of commercials on YouTube, because, hey, that was the best reason to watch anything on Saturday, right? The commercials. Commercials are always great. Other than that, one Saturday morning on ABC Kids should be...
It's so funny how back then we used to hate commercials. I mean, we still do hate commercials, but when you look back, it's just so nostalgic at the old commercials.
Be commended for what they did. They fought the best they could against the federal mandate and cable networks, and we got out of it some of the best programming ever, like Teacher's Pet, Pepper Ann, and to me, the most important thing was Recess. With 90s nostalgia on the rise, and with one Saturday morning now being like 20 years old, I'm surprised that Disney really hasn't done much to acknowledge it. There's not really t-shirts.
Recess probably top 10 cartoons. I'm not talking about like anime and all of that stuff. I'm just saying, like, when you put in that category of like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Doug, like those type of cartoons.
Or even anything like that to buy. And only time will tell if they will ever acknowledge it. It was such a brief period of TV history, but if you're like me, you'd know that there was only one Saturday morning.
Yo, that was hard, man. Shout outs to Justin Wilton. You know what I'm saying? That was really good, man. I love those times. That was a very, for lack of better terms, that was a very magical time. Very, very, very nostalgic. I did not know that Recess came from One Saturday Morning. But all right, yeah. I appreciate you all watching. Yo, I am having a giveaway for a Trim UI brick handheld. I'm trying to hit my 1,000 subs, you feel me? I'm trying to get monetized, you know what I'm saying? If you want to know how to potentially win, then you can subscribe and look at the community posts. And yeah, and it explains there. So I appreciate you guys. God bless and salutations to the nations. Peace.
Angel Knot.